trying again to make this recording. You see these revised dual ends? Well, they're dirty. The white borders and the backs have a significant amount of dirt built up on them. So I'm going to be giving an instructional about how to clean them and remove dirt on cards that are approximately in this condition, MP, HP, but you just want them to look better in the sleeve when you're playing with them. So this is what the instructional particularly relates to. This isn't how I would clean cards that are near mint or extremely valuable. We will do a much slower and using some different materials type of process on those. All right, so here we go. I'm going to try to clip this into my holder. This is where the recording has gone wrong numerous times already. I'll try to get that in here and there, like that. So what I've got in the pump bottle is distilled water, and that's important to use when you're cleaning. You don't want to use tap water. That would leave residues potentially behind. You don't know the quality of your tap water. There could be other things in there. There could be rust that you don't see because it's dissolved in solution from pipes. So I always would recommend to use distilled water for cleaning, and it's really the safest thing to use. So let's start with the worst card, which is the Tropical Island. I'll show it again. It's quite bad. So when you start cleaning, you want to get the card damp because it's actually the water that does the work. The water is, just by wetting the dirt, you are starting to lift it, you're starting to soften it. And you always start from the middle of the card and work outwards. You never go along the edge aggressively, and you never ever push towards the middle from the outside. What that would do is potentially lift the edge of the card and cause damage to it. You don't want to do that. In this case, I'm using a typical paper towel folded up. And again, this is for an HP, MP, not valuable card. It doesn't really need to be anything more than this. And the surface is already so damaged that there's no chance that this cloth is causing any additional damage to the surface. I'm not concerned about that. So I'm going to work on it like this. Now, you have to know about cardboard is that it does saturate and absorb water, right? Like this is paper. So there's a limited amount of time that you can work on a card for before you start to oversaturate and potentially cause some damage. And you have to know that by experimentation. And I recommend you try doing a bit of this at home on something less valuable to start. There we go. So I'm almost done my rounds around the card on the second time. So there's a bit of timing. I would do about 3 rounds on this, and then I'm going to stop. I'm going to let the card dry a little bit to the air, get the moisture off the top, and then I could proceed to do a second round of cleaning. But I'm not going to try to aggressively clean the card all at once. Just improve it. And as long as I'm seeing improvement, and I'm only going around 2 or 3 times, then you know that I'm not causing any issues with the card. So we can flip it over, and I can show you here on this, here how much dirt I've already removed from it. It's quite a bit, and it's already looking a lot better. But the card is starting to get humidity, and you can actually see the card, see how it's curled? Because the front is more humid than the back, so the front is expanding and causing the card to curl this way. As I add humidity to the back, this back is going to expand as well evenly, and the card will actually become much more flat. And again, see, I'm always pushing from the middle, medium pressure on the card, medium to light, I would say, actually quite light, really. But this would be more pressure again than I would use on a very valuable card, and a card that is in better condition on the surface. I don't want to cause any surface issues. I have softer wipes than these to use for that. I'm going to do one more pass around here, and I got quite a bit of dirt off of the back of the card too, so I'm happy with that. I know I've made quite a bit of progress. Lift this off of here. So we'll look at where this card is at now, if you can remember where it was before. It's not perfectly clean. It looks a lot better, and I'll be able to do another round on it after this. So that's the first round, and we'll let this sit over here and dry out. So I'm going to take this towel, I'm just going to fold it over to this side, wipe this off again, and start on the Savannah. There's still enough moisture in this towel to do this. I don't want to have a wet towel. When I first put the water on it, I kind of folded and bent the paper towel over so that the water would absorb evenly, leaving me a highly damp surface, but nothing that would leave like streaks of water behind. I don't want to cause any water damage to the card. card is not as dirty and it's already almost perfectly clean. Just the last little speck of dirt right here. I'm trying to take it off, see if I can get that to leave. That's looking a lot better. Okay, switch over to the back side. For me, that's already clean. This one was really not very dirty. Okay, over to this one. Might add a little bit of water to the towel. Just flex it, absorb out the extra water. Start cleaning again. Turn it. So this is it. You just repeat this process over and over again, and making sure to let your card dry out. I'll see where my recording time is at now. It is at, yeah, about 6 minutes, so I think it's probably time to stop soon. I could maybe take it to about maybe a 10-minute video if you want to see what some of the results are like. I might have time to do that. But to be honest, I probably won't, because I'm going to let the cards finish and completely dry out before I move on to take any pictures. Scrubland looks way better now. It's good looking and clean. It almost is LP now without that dirt on it. A high plate LP card. Higher, that doesn't really make sense, but like on the lower end of LP, I guess is what I would say. It's not medium play. It doesn't have any of those medium play characteristics of excessive wear on any particular part or creasing or such. So there we go. The last is the Vayu. Add a little bit more. Okay, there we go. Should also point out, before I started, I made sure that the surface I'm working on is really clean. There's no grains of anything. There's no chance I'm pushing the card or pushing the surface of the card into anything, causing any damage, something like that. So that's definitely not happening here. I just wanted to point out, I didn't mention it, but that is something I'm aware of, and I avoid doing, is having any dirt on my surface. I always start with a very clean surface. That's the goal. Skirt 2 is actually in good condition. Once it gets cleaned and I can take out that little bit of a fold at the top, it's going to be a much nicer card than what it was purchased as. And I think I'm almost done here. I'm just going to flip it back over. One last peek on the front of it. Okay, and then we can, now that that's all been finished there, I'm going to check the time one more time here. I think, yeah, I've got a minute and a half. I'm going to revisit the tropical. Let's see what else we can take out of the tropical. It was really dirty at the top, so not a miracle expected here. Some of the dirt sometimes damages the white border, and that's what it looks like here. But at least, see, now I told you don't go side to side, but if you just take it under your finger and just on one spot, say you want to really remove a piece of stubborn dirt there, then you can do that. I wouldn't go across the whole edge, just a little back to forth wiggle there on one spot. That'll be okay. Yeah, that's all gone. I think there's one more spot down here that's, see if I can get that off. Oh, it looks like that's leaving too. Like a dot of dirt on there. Okay. And these, let's see, are these removable? Yeah, I think that's going to be removable too. Yeah, so all these little dirt dots are leaving now. Okay, so this is round 2 on the cleaning, and we can have a look at where it's at. And for me, that's a lot more reasonable than what it looked like before. There is a little bit of dirt here on this edge, that spot, and maybe a couple up here. This is damage to the lip. I'm not going to be able to fix or remove that by cleaning it. But there's a little bit of dirt here and a little bit of dirt here. I'm probably going to be able to remove all that. Let's look at the Bayou as well. It's we'll see what it looks like when it dries, because I think that that's going to go away. There's one little speck of dirt here. I'm going to be able to take that off, I'm sure, on the second pass. And there's a little dirt down here. I'm going to be able to get that off too, I'm pretty sure. The Savannah, still quite dirty, actually. I have, this is like staining. So there's a little bit of staining. I think maybe I'll be able to lift some of that off a little better, but still the card is improved. And then this last one, the Scrubland, really was the best result of all of them. It was also, I don't think, the dirtiest, but yeah, it looks nice on the front at least now. So that's the end of that video, and any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments.